Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about woke companies and how they're trying to pander to leftists by giving special treatment to minorities. That's right, this has been happening all over the place since these terrible incidents that happened in our country, which caused lots of race baiting, which resulted in riots, looting, stealing, destruction of property, tearing down of statues. I mean, you name it. Things have been going crazy across this country. And in addition to that, a lot of companies have tried to get involved to try to get themselves woke clout, get themselves attention, and probably get themselves money and paid too. This has happened in a number of ways. We've seen companies remove mascots to try to stay woke, like with Aunt Jemima's pancake syrup. We've seen them post things on Twitter, these little black squares with lame quotes in the middle of them, like McDonald's, Nintendo, Sony have all done stupid stuff like that. And now we're talking about a new move. We're talking about a new step, and a very, very interesting one at that. This is involving Uber Eats. Uber Eats is the food delivery service. They, of course, deliver food to you guys. You call them up, or rather, you use the app. You pick out your food. They deliver it to you for a small fee. You leave the guy a tip, whatever it may be. It's a very interesting service that's been getting highly popular, and it's also become really relevant because with this health scare, a lot of people don't want to go out. They don't want to touch or go to public places. So ordering food, getting it delivered to your door, and they can no contact deliver it by just dropping it off in front of your door, walking away. You don't have to see or touch anyone. So that's why this service has come to light, and that's what's brought us up to this today's story. Basically, Uber Eats is getting woke, and they're offering to not give fees to only certain kinds of restaurants. That's right. They're offering no fee services to minorities, basically. They're trying to give them special treatment, give them special examples and stuff. And I think what it's really showing is that this whole reverse racism thing is becoming big, big, big right now. I know reverse racism is just racism, but it's basically the reaction to what's going on. Like, these people say that everything's racist in our country. It's really not. We're a safe, fair country. We have equality. There's no racist laws or stuff out there. It's really overblown. But their point is, besides the truth and the facts, they want to claim that everything's racist against minorities. And what's their solution? Well, they want to be racist to whites now. That's the funniest thing, is like, they're actually not about equality and not being racist. They don't care about like treating everyone equal. That's not it at all. Anytime that's said, just do not buy it. It's not true, because the truth is, this is about like revenge for them. They hate white people, so they think that we're racist to them, and that in turn, that means they can be racist to us, which is just a whole kind of mind game. There's so many wrong things in there. There's so many false assumptions that have made this not the case. And the truth is, it's not cool. It's racist against white people, and people are starting to speak up. Here we have an article about this story saying, Ted Cruz, Uber Eats no-fee policy for Black-owned restaurants violates civil rights laws. Now, I appreciate Ted Cruz standing up for this and speaking out. I do think it's unfair, and it possibly could be breaking some laws. Not sure if that's the case yet. It's worth looking into. And as the subtitle says, Texas Republican predicts Uber Eats will be hit with lawsuits and lose everyone. So there could be get sued for this. It's a bad, bad look. And I'm glad to hear Ted Cruz speaking out on it. It is interesting that they would try to pull this. And this kind of reverse racism, it's not okay. Like, you can't just be racist. Like, you can't give these guys a special treatment just because you think that they're racist 100 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. Article says, Senator Ted Cruz, Texas Republican, predicted Wednesday that Uber Eats will soon find itself in legal trouble over its decision to drop delivery fees on orders from Black-owned restaurants, arguing that the policy violates federal civil rights statutes. Mr. Cruz said the company will likely be hit with discrimination lawsuits, presumably from restaurants without Black ownership. This will be an expensive exercise in virtue signaling, Mr. Cruz tweeted, because their explicit race-based discrimination is willfully in defiance of federal civil rights laws. Uber Eats will lose every one of the lawsuits that are about to be filed. So I think this is a good prediction. I think this goes to show a different angle. Like, Cruz isn't coming after them himself. He's just kind of predicting that other places could sue them for discrimination. And I think that's a strong case. It could be coming up. You could say he might be encouraging that, but I think he's just pointing it out and saying, hey, Uber, what are you thinking here? I mean, yeah, you have a great car service. That's cool. You guys took over the world with this car ride service, and now you spun it off into food deliveries. But to make this racist bias law that only gives credits to Black people, I mean, it's just really lame, really dumb. And it goes to show that they're just not really into this for being fair. It's not about treating everyone the same. It's about giving, in this case, black people a special treatment. In a June 4th statement, Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said that the Uber Eats as a starting point will promote black-owned restaurants while making it easier for you to support them with no delivery fees for the remainder of the year. And in coming weeks, we will offer discounted rides to black-owned small businesses who have been hit hard by COVID to help in their recovery, said his statement, which ended with Black Lives Matter. So this is full-blown support, BLM, just totally going woke, totally just showing their true colors, showing they don't understand the world and politics. I'm not surprised. I'm not sure who this Dara place is, but that name is a mess. I cannot get this name right. I'm sorry. Koshoroshi. I don't know. Doesn't sound like an American-based name, but let's go ahead and check it out. It's a guy. I thought it was a girl. Dara. So he's an Iranian-American businessman, chief executive officer of Uber. He was born in Iran, and he thinks America is racist. So that's good to know. Nothing wrong with being an immigrant, being from another country, but I do think it's interesting that these people from other countries say that America's racist and terrible. I think that's a really bad sign, and the fact that he's leading this major American company here, Uber is like based in California, I believe. Regardless, though, this is not helping. This is just reverse racism. This is just biasness, and it's being like promoted like it's a good thing. Black-owned businesses and others were also hit hard by rioting mobs that vandalized, torched, and looted franchises and storefronts in major U.S. cities in the wake of protests over the May 25th death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody. San Francisco attorney Harmeet K. Dillon said that the Uber policy was not only pandering, but it violates California's UNRRA Act and other civil rights laws. So, yes, they are based in California, and I don't know what's up with this part. Like, they're saying their places got mobbed and vandalized and torched. I mean, those were BLM people. Like, those were the leftists. They were tearing down their own city. That's the local people. A lot of them were black people too, like supporting this guy who got arrested, who shouldn't have died. There was a bad arrest there, but he also resisted arrest and did a lot of bad crimes that led to that situation. I mean, he wasn't completely innocent, but the point is, these guys tore down their own businesses and now they want handouts and like free stuff. And like Uber has this foreign leader that's kind of pandering to blacks. It's just like a real mess to me. Like, I'm not feeling this vibe at all. And I'm not very interested in using Uber after hearing this. Next, we got another story. This actually is very funny because this goes to show that you can't win. Like, it's never enough when you kind of pander to leftists, to liberals, to the woke SJW mob. Like, they're never going to be satisfied. So this is actually them saying they're not getting enough. Like it says, despite promise, Uber Eats still charges black restaurant owners big fees. So I guess the owners get a percentage fee on their end, but this promise was supposed to not give fees to the customers. They got like discounted rides, but now they want free stuff for the owners of the restaurant, which is just really, really pushing it. You know, it's like, oh, it's never enough, huh? It's never enough. Last week, in a move to show support for the BLM movement, Uber said its food service, Uber Eats, will waive delivery fees for all black-owned restaurants in the U.S. through the end of 2020. To make it easier for users to find those restaurants, Uber Eats also rolled out a new feature to highlight black-owned restaurants in more prominent spots on the app. So they're getting promoted too. They're getting like pushed up and pushed on the front of the app. They're also getting fees removed from potential customers, which is going to give them more incentive to shop there. I mean, they're giving them a lot of pro help here. I mean, this is exactly the kind of biasness we talk about on other social media apps, like other apps like, you know, this video app, Twitter, Facebook, like they all have their favorites too. And to see this happening now with Uber Eats is strange. It's like going even further. I wish that the lives of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and countless others weren't so violently cut short. I wish that the institutional racism and the police violence it gives rise to didn't cause their deaths. Uber CEO Dara wrote in an email to customers on Thursday. Okay, now we got more of this email. This is ridiculous. Okay, institutional racism, whatever that means. I mean, there's no laws or institutions that are inherently racist. I mean, that's just bogus. And then they're also saying that institutional racism caused the police violence that caused these people's deaths. It's like, no, dude, George Floyd got pulled over. He was super high and he tried to spend fake dollar bills. That's what led to his arrest. Ahmaud Arbery, he reached for some guy's weapon. He was running after this truck and grabbed some guy's weapon, and that's how he went down. I mean, Breonna Taylor definitely is the most innocent of this bunch, but she was in an apartment and the other person came over and started shooting at the cops. So the cops started shooting at them. I mean, that was a bad case, but geez, this doesn't have to do with racism at all. Like we just explained it all real quick, has nothing to do with racism. There's no institution. There's maybe some bad cops like that made a decision that wasn't perfect, but let's not Monday morning quarterback them either. I mean, these guys are in life or death situations every day. Sure, they're going to make mistakes. We're all human. To hold them to such a high regard is really, really ridiculous. And it just goes to show, I mean, they try to hold them to the highest standards possible, but then they say they hate the police and they want to defund them. And it's like, we don't even need them. It doesn't make any sense. It's very contradictory. And seeing this Dara guy from Uber say more crap about our country, I mean, it's just like, why'd you move here, dude? Why are you a CEO in California? Why aren't you back in Iran? It's like, oh, it's because you love this country and you're going to make a lot more money here. You have freedom. You could talk trash about us like this. And it's just really disgusting that it's passed on to their policies. And now they can have racist policies that obviously could get them in trouble in the future. And they're really going to get us frustrated right now. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Also hit that like button to get this thing shared. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell to get notifications every time we upload. And also check out our second channel, NoBS News. Until next time, have a great day.